What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. Lately, you guys have been on fire with these awesome suggestions. Yesterday, we talked about the powers of a Catan. Today, we are going to shift gears and go into a more chaotic route as we look at this excerpt for the Death Guard. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this awesome reading. Now this lore takes us back all the way to 2001, a chapter approved that talks about the Death Guard and their cult terminators. Corpses bloated with noxious gases spewed excremental fluids as the filth-encrusted Land Raider crushed them beneath its rusted iron tracks, grinding their jellied bones to mere pulp. Explosions burst around the massive vehicle, filling the air with lethal fragments and scouring the necrotic surface of its armored hide. Hulking and deformed warriors kept pace with the plague tank, firing mucus-covered bolters through the yellow fog as they advanced. The Imperial Fist's defensive line was less than 50 meters away, the ground before it littered with the twisted, plague-ridden carcasses of those unfortunate to have been touched by the dark powers. The fog coiled around the Land Raider like a living thing, as though it moved on some vile business of its own. The white heat of last cannon fire speared through the sickly haze and struck the hull of a tank. The massive vehicle slewed around but kept moving, spinning tracks, churning scraps of rotten flesh and decayed limbs as it rumbled over the pathetic barricade their foes had erected. The ground shook as the vehicle crashed back to the earth. The front ramp dropped and pestilential fumes gusted from within, like the breath of some vast infected beast. Vomited from the belly of the armored beast, warriors spawned in a festering nightmare charged from the Land Raider, a foul miasma of contagion wreathing their helmets in smoky darkness. Almost 3 meters tall, the huge figures wore poisonous green suits of Terminator armor, splashed with clusters of weeping boils and sores. Diseased lesions and foul organic matter oozed from cracks in the armor, the stench of the plague Terminators causing even the defending Space Marines to gag through their rebreather equipment. Captain Learchus of the Imperial Fists leveled his bolter at the hideous giants before him, scarce able to believe that he would once have called these abominations their brother. Their souls were then forfeit to the dark gods, and their inner corruption was made manifest in their hideousness. Hatred like nothing he had known before coursed through his veins like an electric charge as he emptied his magazine into these traitors. The squad followed his example, firing without pause into the charging Terminators. Several shells found homes in traitor flesh, blasting chunks of diseased tissue and ceramite clear, but not a single Terminator fell. The decaying armor and unnatural resilience of the followers of Nurgle carried them through this hail of fire. Brother Culathrax stalked leisurely through the fog of sweet corruption and hail of bolter shells, his plague sword licking out left and right. He cut and stabbed, slicing skin and pricking organs, but never killing outright. No, never that. For who was he to deprive his foes of the agonizing bliss of his father Nurgle's rot? How sweet it was to watch those from within who saw the false emperor made them descend into madness and decay, their once powerful bodies turning on them as plague reduced them to mindless, gibbering horrors of mutated flesh. They had set themselves up as gods, and they would now pay the price for that arrogance. A Space Marine captain in blazing yellow armor stood before him, his sword raised in challenge, and Culathrax smiled. "Time to die, traitor," he hissed. Culathrax chuckled. "I think not," and he swung his dripping sword at his opponent. The Marine then ducked and thrust with his own weapon. The energized edge scraped a furrow in the Terminator's armor, but slid clear. Culathrax battled aside his opponent's blade with his power fist, stabbing his separating weapon through Learchus's belly. The blade of the plague sword skewered the Space Marine in an upward arc, lifting him from his feet and hammering through the building behind. Learchus hung suspended above the ground, blood pooling beneath his twitching body. The wound refused to close, and Learchus coughed a bloody phlegm as he felt the meat of his body rotting at a terrifying rate, internal organs flooding with dead fluids, and the flesh of his limbs sloughing through his bones inside his armor. His breath rasped as his lungs dissolved, and his vision faded as his eyeballs liquefied, sliding down his face like gelatinous tears. He tried to curse his killer, but his throat had ruptured, and seconds later, his brain was a foetid gray ooze dribbling from his sagging head. Brother Calathrax inhaled the intoxicating aroma of his master's putrescent benediction, and he offered a short prayer to Father Nurgle. He wrenched his sword from the wall, allowing the sloshing suit of power armor to topple to the sinking ground. The disintegration of this world was almost complete, and Calathrax could taste their victory on the foul wind that swept the battlefield. He pictured oceans of decaying flesh, infection rampant, and plagues unnumbered. That would be their gift to the descendants of this mortal realm. Calathrax laughed at the thoughts, and the fog closed in. And there you have it, guys. What a disgusting read. It's crazy to think that these Space Marines who have been blessed by Papa Nurgle have this type of ability at them. Because normally when you think Plague Marines, you just think they're slow, they're tough, they're durable. But no, they're much, much more than that. A single scratch from one of their weapons, be it Plague Sword, Plague Scythe, Plague Fist, anything that comes in contact with the flesh and blood of a Space Marine, Xenos, human, anything, that basically guarantees them dying. Be it a quick death or a slow, painful one, or one as gruesome as described in this excerpt. We see the bones liquefying, the eyes becoming jello. That's just nasty to think about. The whole body horror, the way the author describes what is going on here, really puts you in their shoes, and it is a gross shoe at that. This reminds me of when I was a wee little lad watching The Fly and seeing Jeff Goldblum come out as this hideous beast, all pussified, and yeah, just thinking about that, it is not something you want to see. But that's basically what you'll face when you're fighting against the Death Guard. So, really awesome excerpt. Thank you guys for, again, letting me know about this awesome excerpt that is over 20 years old. So, yeah, GW has been putting out bangers since their inception. But yeah, really awesome. If you guys have other pieces of novels, White Dwarf articles, anything like that that you want us to showcase to, everybody who subscribes, please let us know, and we'll get to that as soon as possible, because again, this was a good one. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Of course, if you want to help support the channel, a like, a comment, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. Share this video to your friends so they can also see and hear the awesomeness of the Death Guard. As always, if you guys want to support us even a little bit more, we do have a Patreon page where you guys can pledge a simple $1 a month to help us put out videos like this more often, or you can support us here directly on YouTube with a super thanks. If not, like I said, liking, commenting, subscribing is more than enough. This has been The Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.